Okay, hello everybody. Today we've got on 76 kilo superstar, soon to be 69 kilo superstar, Agata Sitko. Agata, you want to introduce yourselves for everyone a little bit?
Hi, I'm Agata. I'm 21 and I'm a 76 kilo, mostly 76 kilo powerlifter in the IPF.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know Agata, she's been battling raw and equipped for the last couple of years at the highest level. She has come second at the last two World Championships. She has won the World Games along with Equipped Worlds. She's basically like came onto the scene recently the last couple of years. I think your first meet was what, 2021? No, 2019. Oh wow.
Yeah. I
So you
started
started
competing in 2019, but uh, I started lifting serious weights in 2021, and that's when everyone noticed me, or like 2022 even, I think.
right. I mean 2021, I believe you were already at Junior Worlds in 2021, correct?
Yeah. I started competing internationally in 2021. I was supposed to go to my first Worlds in 2020, but every meet got cancelled, so I didn't
Right.
get a chance.
Okay, yeah. So we all know that Sheffield's coming up. This is going to be your second attempt at Sheffield. Last year it didn't necessarily go as planned. This year, obviously, we got a little bit of a different situation. You're going from one huge battle in one weight class to now a different one. How's training in general leading up to Sheffield? We've seen some of the stuff you've hit, but just how's it feeling overall?
It's actually going very well. It's like the my first prep ever when everything's going well and I'm pretty confident in what I can hit on the platform. So like the cut is starting to be a bit annoying. Like I'm kind of hungry all the time, but like just last 3 weeks, so I can push for this. And yeah, the bench is feeling the strongest it has ever been. I'm hitting PRs right and left, and I finally don't have lower back pain. So I've been pain free for the last few weeks, and it feels amazing to be able to push both squats and deadlifts.
That sounds good. You said that you're feeling hungry all the time now. How many calories are you eating to make this cut?
Currently around 2700s, a little bit over. So like,
2,700. You're feeling
yeah,
hungry with 2,700 calories?
I've been fine for the since the beginning of this cut. Just the last few days have been pretty hard. I don't know if I just hit this point where you're hungry all the time or it's something else, but yeah.
That's pretty crazy. I mean, like 83s and 93 men are like eating 2,700 for maintenance, and you're eating that on a cut. Wow, that's pretty crazy. I don't have 27. My maintenance is like 24, 2,500 at 83. That's yeah,
My maintenance calories leading up towards were like 30 to 100 calories. So
that's crazy.
And are you
So
planning
you
to
might
cut, sorry, are you planning to cut all the way down to 69? Because like we kind of been seeing in your Instagram posts, like your body weight's floating around 70 kilos already. So are you planning to make any sort of water cut or just diet all the way down?
Uh, so currently my weight is pretty much staying the same at around 70 kilos, and we plan to do a gut cut. And if needed, we'll cut some water because my period is gonna be pretty close to Sheffield. So depending on how that goes, we'll just cut as much as we have to.
wow. I mean, you mentioned that like bench is the best it's ever felt at this light body weight. I mean, that's pretty crazy. You'd think like in general, when people are doing like a cut, bench and squat get affected the most, and like deadlift sometimes doesn't get affected at all because the leverages might be better. But bench, you're saying bench is the best it's ever felt right now. That's
So I
are you
think we
gonna
just what?
you're gonna open with the world record bench, I assume?
Yeah. I will have to probably because the world record is 134 kilos. So I would have to open up at like 142.5, and that's just too low if I want to finish with like 160, and that's the goal. And I think that bench is going so well because we found with my coach a formula that works pretty well for me. So yeah.
Wow. I mean, in general, you often take like pretty big jumps, like on bench. Like I know a lot of times you like taking your opener somewhere, let's say 145, and then jump straight to like the world record. Like you'd go 145 to like 156 or stuff like that. So I mean, you're comfortable with those size jumps on bench. But how's your bench depth been? Like obviously last year you missed your first two on bench depth, and then you came back and hit your third. And at Worlds, I believe you did you get called for bench depth on any of them?
No,
No. Okay, so obviously
but
fix that.
well, I didn't really change anything technique-wise for Worlds, so that was pretty surprising that I got a depth call at Sheffield and didn't get a depth call at Worlds. But after some more consideration, I came to the conclusion that it's better to change my technique a little bit to make 100% sure that I will hit depth. So I started zinking the bar a bit, and yeah, it worked pretty well. At Girl Power, I got 3 white lights on all 3 attempts, so I think it's fine.
And was it kind of a struggle to switch to the sinking style? Because we've seen some people like having to switch techniques and them kind of struggling with it for a little bit. Or for you, was it just, okay, I got it. Like bench just comes so naturally to you.
I was pretty surprised because I didn't feel like it affected my strength that much. I did try it at one session just to see how it would be, and yeah, it didn't really feel much weaker, so it was fine.
Awesome.
Yeah. So you said like strength has been pretty good. You said bench is the best it's been, and you said your lower back is feeling better, so squats and deadlifts are able to push. Are you trying? Do you think you're going to hit like an all-time PR total at 60? Like meaning cutting down a weight class and still hitting your biggest total ever?
That's the goal. Looking at how training is going, I think it's possible. Since I will hit a big bench PR and most likely a deadlift PR because the lifts have been going really well recently. If I hit the same squat as I've hit before, it will be a total PR. So yeah, the goal is to hit 600 or more, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty crazy. I mean the one advantage you have now that the last two worlds, both times you were in first coming into the last pole, and both times your opponent pulled for the win. But now obviously it's changed a little bit because moving from the 76 where you had Jessica and Carlino who both have like bigger deadlifts. Now you're I don't know exactly. I haven't really seen Leah's training, but like presumably you have the ability to outpull her, so you're actually going to have the opportunity to pull last this time for like the first time really ever. So everything's in your hands now. It's not you don't need to watch somebody else and see how they lift. But I assume like your goal. I would assume maybe I'm wrong. Your number one goal for Sheffield is to win overall. All right.
Yeah, but like I think if we all hit what we say we will hit, so around 590, 585 or more, then it will be between us. The world record in the 69s is so low that it will be easy for just the 3 of us to be on the podium. So in my mind, winning the 69 kilo division will probably give me the overall win.
Right. That makes sense. I mean, every year you kind of can look at all the weight classes and kind of see which records are comparatively low. Like last year, I looked and I saw the 52s were very low. Obviously, I didn't know Evie was going to be 52, but I thought Noemi was going to win because I'm just like, she could put like 20 kilos on the world record total, which is like 5%. And then that has the advantage. Now, looking through the classes, I think the 69s is obviously the lowest because the record is Leah's record, which is lower than the 63s. And now both Leah and Corolla can both eat into it, and they could probably put some ground on their previous totals. I don't know. I don't think either of them are capable of hitting 600, in my opinion. But I think for sure, like putting like 20 plus kilos on the world record total, probably all three of you will be putting 20 plus kilos. So I would say that, in my opinion, the winner of the 69s is going to be the heavy favorite for the winner of Sheffield. So I agree with that. I mean, what would it mean comparatively to win Sheffield versus winning Worlds?
It's like a much bigger thing, I feel, because there are all the champions from every weight class, and you're not only beating people from your weight class, you're beating all of them. On the other hand, since the formula is pretty weird, and as we've said before, the 69 kilo total is a bit low, it like maybe it won't feel like such an accomplishment because you're not beating people on strength only. You're beating them because you use the fact that your weight class has a lower world record. It's hard to say. It's just a different thing. But like winning Sheffield is definitely a big goal, and I just can't imagine what it would feel like to win Sheffield.
If your cut goes well and you have the performance you want and win Sheffield, would you look to stay in the 69s for this coming year's Worlds? Because there's only going to be I believe 4 months in between. So it's not like there's not there's not like a ton of time to bulk back into the 76s and fill it out again. Would you stay at 69 for this year's Worlds or no?
No, I'm leaning more towards getting back to the 76s for a few reasons. One of them is that if I can hit the 69 at the total that would be competitive in the 76s, then there's just no point in staying in the 69s. If I can just slowly bulk back up, gain some strength probably, because lifting when you're in a calorie surplus is better. Two, I'm so done with this cut. I just want to get back to a healthy weight. I don't want to be this skinny anymore. I just want to eat food. And three, I'm planning to compete at Equipped Worlds in November, and I would like to be at around 80 kilos then to hit my equipped goals, which is a 300 kilo squat and an 800 kilo total. So yeah, I just plan to slowly bulk up to 80 kilos.
Is part of that also that you're kind of looking to have that rematch with Carlina to finally claim like a raw world championship? Because I think from an outsider's perspective, if you were to win Sheffield at 69 and hit something crazy like 600 in total, 20 kilos over what Leah and Corolla do, just theoretically. From an outsider's perspective, it would kind of seem that the 69 kilo class would be like a somewhat easier path to that world championship title. But is part of it too, you're kind of looking to, take the harder route and rematch against Carlina and put up bigger numbers.
Yeah, that's another thing. I don't really care as much about the titles. I care more about the weights you lift and the head-to-head battles. So as you've said, if winning the 69s would be easy, then there's no point for me to be in the 69s. And yeah, I would like to beat Carlina, of course. So yeah.
So you mentioned your equipped goals: 300 kilo squat, 800 kilo total. So your goal is to have the heaviest equipped total of all time, while
Yeah,
being a
pretty
light
much.
in before.
Yeah, because
And then
this will probably be my last big equipped meet, since we have Classic at World Games. Then there's not really much for me to do in the equipped, so I want to go all out and hit those big numbers.
Are you
Because this
still
will be the last one.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Are you still planning to compete at World Games in both raw and equipped?
Yes, if it's possible, I would like to compete in both, but we'll see how the timetable looks. If, for instance, equipped is before raw, then I will only compete in raw. But if equipped is after raw, I will compete in both.
right, it's obviously it's a very difficult season, especially with Sheffield now also to be able to do raw worlds. Do you have to do a qualifier in Poland, or can you just go straight to worlds?
It depends. I will have to do a qualifier, but it's I will come, do one attempt, and probably win. So
Okay, so right, but you still got to do Raw Worlds. You got to do Equipped Worlds. You got to do Sheffield. In a World Games year, there's Raw World Games, potentially Euros, like all those meets. It's pretty tough to do Raw and Equipped. Like you could end up doing like easily 6 meets in a year, and like not 6 easy meets, 6 meets where you're like actually having to peak and cut and or whatever, not cut if you're doing 76, but peak and like actually hit a real lift. So you think that if you hit this 800 kilo total at Equip Worlds, that might be your last Equip meet like ever, or just for now?
Uh, I'm not saying I will never compete in equipped again, but there's just not, there isn't really an competition in equipped, and like no one cares about equipped, so I just don't see the point of competing equipped. But maybe I will just miss it one day and put it on again just for fun.
Right. I just looked and you competed 8 times in 2022. So I guess
Yeah.
competing 6 times is not 6 times is not really
It's
is not
light
really
work for
adding
you. It's
up.
easy.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm already have like 10 meets planned for 2024. So 2023 was just a break with 3 meets only. And yeah,
You
we
you just said 10 meets in 2024?
I think something around that. But that's
Okay, so
including those national meets where I only go to hit one attempt to make the qualifications.
right. So you're doing Sheffield, then you signed up for the Arnold, right?
Yeah,
The Arnold, and then what about Euros?
I'm not doing heroes,
Okay, so
but
then Worlds,
yeah,
then Equipped Worlds. What else?
I'm wondering. I mean, maybe I will go to Girl Power again. I was also thinking about the Euro Muscle Show. It's like, I don't know when it's supposed to be, but it's in Netherlands and my brother lives there, so I might just go there to visit him, get a money prize because there will be a money prize, and then maybe a silent worker meet if I get invited again, because I missed it last year because of personal reasons. I couldn't come, but I would like to come to the silent worker meet. And yeah, then 2 national meets I will have to do. And I think that's it. I'm also thinking about a strongman meet just for fun, but I don't know if that will work out. But if yes, then I would like to compete in strongman too.
Do you do strongman training in general?
I do sometimes do some strongman lifts as my accessories.
Wow. But in strongman, like I don't know how the weight classes work. Like I assume there's a lighter. I mean, you wouldn't be competing against the heavyweights in strongman, would you?
No, no, no. I
Okay.
mean, I probably go to like a local kinda meet. I don't know how it works in strongman, but a meet for people competing for the first time. So I don't know if there would be weight classes at a meet like that.
Uh-huh. Okay, so powerlifting obviously is the main focus, and looks like Raw is obviously the main focus because the one big draw for Equipped was World Games, and if Raw's going to have World Games, then there isn't really much of a focus on Equipped, right? You got Worlds obviously with the biggest battles, you got Sheffield with which is the biggest money meet, and then you got World Games, which is like the closest to like the Olympics that we can get. Do you think powerlifting makes it to the Olympics?
Nah, I don't think so,
No,
but we'll see. I don't really care about the Olympics.
Do you
really.
care much about World Games? Like what's kind of your perspective on um World Games having Classic in the upcoming one? Like are you like excited about it or is it kind of just like it's another meet?
I mean, it's pretty cool. That's a pretty big meet, and we're going to China and all. And I don't know if you've been to World Games or not,
No.
but the opening ceremony and all of that, it feels like Olympics. So that's pretty cool, and it will be a bigger battle because you have 2 weight classes together. So you're not only battling people from your weight class, but also another one. So yeah, that's pretty exciting.
Right now in your mind, where do you rank Classic World Games in comparison to like Sheffield or Classic Worlds? Like, what's kind of that ranking for you? Because some people say, oh, World Games is like at the top, like it's right under the Olympics. But Sheffield has this like big production, and it's like the biggest meet of the year right now. So
We'll see how it plays out, honestly. There's never been classic World Games before, so it's hard to predict. But since it only happens once every 4 years, I feel like it's pretty special too. But I don't know if they can beat Sheffield, honestly. It would be hard.
You think Sheffield's going to continue to be every single year?
Why not?
I don't know. It's based off the current scoring systems with the world record. Like it seems like hard for every year. Meaning as the sport gets more competitive, where you're not going to have like certain weight classes now that somebody could win worlds easily and then try to push the world record at Sheffield. Like as there's more and more people coming into the sport from like different countries and pushing the world record, I don't know. Sheffield could exist, but by the current scoring system, I don't know if people will be able to break the world record by like 5% every year. It seems. I mean, like I know last year, I think 7 of the 8 women's world records were set at Sheffield, with the exception being the 69s, because I don't know if there was a 69, but yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Hopefully it lasts. It's the best production and it's the biggest money meet. But you think it's going to stay every year?
I think it will stay every year, but they might just change the scoring system. When they first announced how Sheffield will work, I was also like, I wonder how long they can keep this up because, yeah, we won't see people breaking world records forever. Right now, female powerlifting is developing really fast, so it might be sufficient for a few years. But like, yeah, we will finally hit the peak and people won't just randomly break world records at every international meet. So yeah, I think they will just have to change the scoring system.
do you see anyone else as a threat in Sheffield besides Carola and Leah? Or are you kind of just like zeroed in on them? Like, are you looking at the 57s, for instance, or the 84 pluses? Like, what's kind of your thoughts on it? Or are you just like zeroed in on your own training right now?
I would have to check everyone's totals and world records because it's hard to say off top of my head. But to be fair, I don't see anyone else breaking the world record by as much as we will because it's so low. And from what I've checked, we will hit like 108, 109% of the world record. So I just don't see any other weight class doing that, to be fair. They would have to break the total world record by 40, 50 kilos, and that's a lot.
All right. It's 108. What's the current world record? It's 5. What is it?
549.
549.
Yeah.
Oh, 549. Oh wow. So it really is low. Okay.
It's
Yeah,
insane that it's low because like just a few years ago it was like, oh, 500 is like the big mark in the 63s, and now it's like, oh, 549, like it's low for Agata. It's low for Leah.
I mean, it's crazy when you think because the battle between Jessica and Kimberly in 2019, the winning total in 72s was 535.
Right.
And now it's like
now it's like you're just gonna push that so far.
Yeah, that's crazy to see where the sport has come.
The goal is sorry, what'd you say?
In just a few years.
Right. The goal is 600, right? For Sheffield, it's 600. Do you think you could win with like something lower, like 580 or 590? Or are you just like, I'm hitting 600?
I think 590 would be enough, but of course we'll see on the day. Maybe someone will surprise me. A lot of people don't really post their training, so it's hard to predict stuff like that. But 600 is a goal just because I want to finally hit this total, and yeah, I think I'm capable of it. So
Who's going to be your handler? Because that's kind of like a big job to take on. Like you have to run all the numbers, you have to make sure you're hitting the right last deadlift to win. Yeah.
My coach will be my handler, and my coach's wife, who's also involved in my programming and stuff, will also be with me in the warm-up room, because we're allowed to bring two coaches to the warm-up room this year.
Yeah, I mean, thinking about the numbers, if you look at the all the world records, you forget about 10%. That's like even crazy. But even if it's like 7%, there's no other weight class that somebody can break it by 7%. It's in every other weight class, it's too high. Like
Yeah.
the other weight classes that might have like maybe 5%, or maybe a big day for like Sonita in the 84 pluses, or maybe a huge day for Natalie in the 57s. But there's no even 5% by anybody else would be like a little bit surprising. 7% is like way past what anyone else can do. So that does make it easier. What you're saying at the beginning, that like to win Sheffield, you just have to win the 69s. That's really what it comes down to. And you're going to know exactly how much you need to load on your third deadlift, and you'll know what it is. Like, I mean, presumably the goal would be to have a high enough total coming into your third deadlift that even if you play games with attempts, that would be enough to win the rest of the meet. Which, if you have, let's say, 585 already locked up, that would be enough to beat any of the other weight classes. And then you just have to make sure that Corolla pulls way less, but that Leah doesn't pull something crazy enough to somehow win. So yeah. So you say that you don't really care so much about like titles and stuff. So what does drive you like in the sport? Like, what do you want to accomplish in the sport?
I just want to be the strongest in, and I'm talking about hitting like weights that no one else can hit, more in this direction, like just setting records that are so crazy that no one else can hit them. Because like I could get a lot of national titles, but there are no battles, so what's the point? And I could win a weight class at Worlds that doesn't have a lot of competitors, but there's no battle, so what's the point? So it's more about having some people like Jessica, Carlina, Leah, Carola that I want to beat and beating them. That's much more exciting to me.
So you care more about like the records than necessarily titles, because titles could be empty, but records means you are the best to ever do it.
Yeah.
In that class, at least. So when you say you want to set records, you're talking about like what weight classes? Obviously, you'd have to set records in the 69s at Sheffield. And then you want to go back to the 76s and set records there. Then what? You want to go to the 84s and battle Amanda? Is that next?
We'll see how that goes. I don't know if I'm not a bit too short for that weight class, to be honest, because during the World Cup, I did struggle to maintain my weight as a 76. So I honestly don't know. I used to think that I could eat however much I want and just gain weight easily, but turns out it's not always that easy. So I don't know what it would look like in a few years, but yeah, if I ever struggle to cut down to the 76th or I just want to gain weight, I might go to the 81st, but I don't know if I'd be able to maintain that weight.
So you
Okay,
said you're, oh wait, you can go.
So at least we have, so your goal is to set a world record total in the 69s, but not just a world record total, a world record total that is very difficult for anyone else to beat. So like you want a world record total that's still standing in years. And then you want to come back to the 76s and you want to beat Carlina, beat Jessica, and set another world record total there. You want to also later in the year by equipped, you want to go there and set the heaviest total all time, regardless of weight class. So those, I guess, that's three pretty big goals in the sport.
Yeah, you gotta aim high. So then you can be more disappointed when you don't achieve it.
Do you care at all about being like obviously you care about setting the total world records so far out of reach. Do you care at all about being the number one powerlifter ever? Like kind of like a Taylor Atwood and his peak. Like, do you care about breaking the records for highest formula, whether that be dots or good lift points?
I kind of do. Like, of course, I want to be the best, like everyone who's at the highest level. But then again, formulas are a bit hard to compare because from what I've read, they were created by looking at historical performances in different weight classes. Is that right?
I'm not exactly sure, but yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
yeah,
I
Something
think
like
something
that.
like that. So it's weird because you have some weight classes that historically were very underdeveloped, like the 47s, for instance, at 84 pluses, because you just have less people who are at this weight. So, like, I don't care that much about formulas because I know that they might just be easier for certain weight classes. But yeah, hitting some big numbers there would also be cool.
Yeah, I think I just looked. If you totaled 592 at 69, that would give you the highest GL points of all time.
That would be great.
I mean, you already have the highest equipped GL score, so if you can have the highest raw and equipped GL score of all time, that would, I mean, technically make you the strongest lifter in the world. Can't really, I don't know if you could argue with that. But do you want to? You want to be the strongest lifter in the world? Or do you have any interest in being the greatest lifter of all time in general?
It would obviously be great to be the greatest lifter of all time, but it's tough to set a goal like that since we're at this point in powerlifting where it's developing super fast and there are new lifters coming from everywhere. So I might be able to hit some insane numbers that are insane right now, but who knows if next year there won't come more lifters who will hit even higher numbers. So I would like to be the greatest of all time, but it's hard to say if it will be possible since the sport is developing so fast.
I mean, to be the greatest lifter of all time, one thing that most people agree on is like, yeah, you want to have some crazy performances, some records, some titles, but you have to like have some longevity in the sport. You got to stick around. Like, how long do you plan on sticking around? Is powerlifting something you want to do for like a long time? Is it something that you want to hit some goals and then you're going to move on? How do you view it?
I want to stick around for as long as possible. It's currently my job. I'm a full-time powerlifter. So yeah, it's a career I want to pursue, and I hope I can stay in the game and be on top for as long as possible.
And
Yeah, I
when you
mean, you're
say full-time powerlifter, do you kind of mean from like sponsorships or money you win at worlds, or is it like coaching on the side too? Like, can you kind of expand on that?
It's mostly money meets because for me, whenever I win a money meet, the money price is 4 or 5 times in my currency, so I can
Oh,
make a
wow.
lot of money in one meet. Like for instance, let's assume that I win Sheffield and hit bench press and deadlift world record, I would win 170K in my currency. So that's a lot of money. So it's mostly money meets, and on top of that, working with SBD and some things like government prizes, scholarships, and all of that, but mostly money meets.
so you're not really involved in coaching at all.
No, no. I I don't feel competent enough right now. I feel like I would have to learn a bit more, and I'm not really into working with people, so that might be a thing for the future, but not right now.
Okay, so for now it's the through the powerlifting itself.
Yeah,
So basically, we need to like Sheffield's great, but we need to create more money meets like this. You'll be
yeah, and
the
like,
you'll be the female John Hack. You'll just go to 7 money meets a year and just win all of them. That'll be your goal.
yeah, that's why I'm gonna compete so much this year because there are a lot of money meets.
How much does the you mentioned like the government giving you some money? Do they fund like your travel expenses or just give you like a sort of stipend for being in a like government recognized sport?
So I get some money from the local government, some money prizes for achievements, and the word you said, I used scholarship. You said type what?
Yeah, like stipend. It's like stipend is
Okay.
just like you get a certain amount of money like each month or every few months or so.
Yes, so I get that, and then I also got a bigger money prize from the government after winning World Games.
Wow.
Okay. So they recognize powerlifting in Poland, I guess that means. But like I don't think I'm trying to think. There's not really I mean Poland doesn't have like a ton of top level powerlifters. Like they send like a full team to Worlds even?
No, it's usually
No.
just like 3 or 4 people.
Is the sport growing there?
It's the thing is, powerlifting in Poland is much more developed on the untested side. So we have a lot more people competing there and much bigger numbers because of how the untested versus tested meet look like. And yeah, just a lot of untested guys really hate the tested side of powerlifting in Poland. So they send all their everyone they're coaching to the untested meets. So a lot of people are not even on anything, but they compete untested because it's just much more developed in Poland. The production is better and all that kind of things.
Really? What federation is the untested federation in Poland?
We have XPC, which is like the biggest untested meet in Poland. Then there's WPC, which probably has the most meets around the year and probably the most people competing there. There's also a new federation that does untested sleeve only meets. So like no knee reps are allowed. And that's called Polska Liga Trójboju RAF. And that these are the biggest three, I think. But there are also a lot of meets that are like single lifts and stuff that aren't really any federation. There are just meets that are run by people.
Do you think
And
your legacy at like Sheffield or going to classic world games, do you think that's going to grow powerlifting in Poland, especially like on the tested side or IPF side?
I think it does a little bit. I've seen some people ask me how to get to Sheffield or saying that their goal is to get to Sheffield. But also, from what I can see, the tested meets are starting to look better. Like they're starting to learn that they need to put some effort into running meets to get people. So yeah, I hope it will just get better and better.
so are there like strong, I mean, on the untested side, are there like strong lifters? Like I'm looking now, like there's Christoph now is, I assume he's moved to the untested side. He's from Poland, Christoph
Yes.
Becky. Right. Besides
So
for him, is there like others?
Krzysztof actually doesn't want to compete anymore. Just a side note, he wants to set the highest deadlift, but with straps. I mean, he said he will compete, but I don't think he's gonna compete anytime soon. So we have Konrad Blewonska, who was the first man in Poland to total 1,000 kilos, and he did it in sleeves. We have
Wow.
my boyfriend Grzegorz Hańczek, who is on the road to hit 1,000 kilos in reps. We have like Łukasz Klugiewicz, who is also pretty close to the 1,000 kilo total. Marcin Gierczak, and there's this Konrad Bronicki. He's also getting close to that. So there are a
And
few names.
those are on the untested side?
Yep.
Okay. So that, you're saying the focus definitely So it's mostly like male untested side, and also like some of the like heavier weights, not so much like the 74 kilo class. Like you guys
I don't really know people from the lighter weight classes, to be honest. So
in general, is that how it works in general in powerlifting? Do you follow just your weight class and the above weight classes?
no, when it comes to the tested IPF side, I follow most lifters from most weight classes, and I generally know who is hitting what. But I don't really follow that many Polish powerlifters because yeah, I just don't really know them since it's
Uh-huh.
not that developed.
Right. Okay. So yeah. So Poland's definitely not. I guess it's not because a lot of these countries are like really making like increases now. Like they're growing and they're like developing like some lift like world's lifters and whatever. But Poland's not really in that direction at the moment.
Yeah,
I guess.
unfortunately.
Would
Uh-huh.
you ever switch over to the untested side? Because I think I saw you said that in a post or like a story one time, or maybe I'm like thinking of the wrong person, but would you ever switch over to that side just because it's so big in Poland, or are you kind of cemented in I want to build my legacy in the IPF?
Yeah, so apparently I found out recently that if you talk about drugs, that automatically means you're on drugs. So I don't know if I can talk about this. But yeah, my
We
goal
can
is
move on.
to nah, I'm pretty open about that. My goal is to switch to the untested side in a few years. I don't have a specific time frame when I want to do this, but yeah, I would like to switch to the untested and get some outside help in the future.
So when you do that, presumably you move up weight class just because you put on more size. Would you like I know you said Poland has like they're growing on the untested side, but like would you start going around to like I mean all these other like the biggest untested meets like are like there's a lot in the US, like a lot of big money meets like where the payouts are like pretty big, and then I think Australia also has like they have like Pro Raw and some other big meets. Like, would you start like going around to all these different countries? Like, would you? I mean, you
Yeah,
said you want to keep it as your job, so I guess you would take a different tour for the money meets.
yeah, definitely. I'm traveling a lot for competitions now, so I would like to keep that going.
Would
Okay,
you
that'd be
change
cool.
your mind at all if like let's say in like I don't know, 4, 3 years, like the growth of the IPF is just like exponential and World Games is huge, Sheffield is 10 times as huge, the possibility of like the Olympics is there. Like, would you consider staying, or is the long-term goal like you're gonna switch at some point?
I mean, I might stick around for a few more years, but yeah, the goal ultimately is to go untested, just because I want to be as big and as strong as possible, and I want to see what my body would be capable of. And yeah, I will probably hit a peak at one point and won't put on as much strength anymore. So just to keep things fun.
So you would try to ultimately hit the biggest total like ever, just on that side.
I don't know if that would be possible since I will never be a super heavyweight because I'm just way too short. And if you're competing with someone who's like 150 kilos, it would be hard to beat them on total.
Okay, so at least in like the maybe the 82 and a halfs probably is where you'd end up, or maybe maybe who knows the 90. I mean, people put on like a lot. If you look, I'm saying if you look at the a lot of the best untested lifters, definitely on the male side. I don't know so much on the female side, but they were IPF lifters, and then they put on like a significant amount. Like John Hack was like 83, and now he's like he cuts from like 100 to make weight. Blake LeHue was 74, and now he like cuts from 90. Like they go up like two weight classes when they move over. So it's like, and I mean, from what I've heard, not that I have experience with this, I think females like get even a bigger advantage. So I mean, it's definitely like reasonable that if you can sit at 75 now, it's possible that you could be competing at 90.
Yeah, maybe. That would be
Yeah.
cool.
I mean,
Yeah. So
even
obviously,
like the the lifters on the untested, sorry, the lifters on the untested side that have like the biggest dot. Like if you open powerlifting, like the top lifter is Christy Hawkins. So I think right now in the untested side, like the ones that get the most hype or are like, you know, like kind of up there on the dot scores, like Christy Hawkins and 75, Brianna Terry, like she kind of floats between 75, 82 and a
Hunter
half.
Henderson.
Yeah, Hunter Henderson, Samantha Rice is also 82 and a half. So they're kind of around your weight already. So you could be joining in that conversation for
Yeah.
best untested lifter ever.
Yeah. Also, all of them they switch off between powerlifting and bodybuilding. Would you ever go down that route?
No, that's bodybuilding and weightlifting are definitely not for me. Bodybuilding, because I would not be able to eat that little. I'm struggling right now. I'm not even at that low body fat percentage. I can't imagine cutting to the like stage body fat percentage. I would just kill myself probably before I reach that. And weightlifting, because it's just so like technical, and I just get frustrated very quickly because it's so hard to do.
So
So
powerlifting
I'm
and
not,
strongman,
yeah.
those are the sports. Well, definitely. I mean, at that point, strongman would be more reasonable as you get a little bigger and have some extra help. But yeah, so I mean, she was saying Christy Hawkins, right? She's totaled 687 and a half raw at 75. So there needs to be a little bit of time for that. But would you ever do like wraps? Like I know obviously you've done equip, so you've done like basically everything. Have you ever competed in just wraps or like how's your squat? Like does your squat go up a lot by wraps or no?
I would definitely have to learn how to squat in reps. I did try squatting in reps once for fun, and my technique was just terrible. I couldn't hit depth. I didn't know how to go down at all, because it's totally different than squatting in reps and the suit, because the suit like kind of holds you together. And yeah, I would have to learn the technique, but I will probably compete in reps only at one point.
Right. So yeah, I mean obviously reps and equipped are a little bit different. Happens to be in terms of squats, like I would say you're looking for like PRs on bench and deadlift. Like how's squat been in general? Like it's been a little bit more of a stubborn lift over the last like couple of years. So how's squats just been in training?
It's actually right now going pretty great. I'm not hitting PRs, but I'm hitting pretty comfortable singles that are fatigue singles at weights that I was struggling with just a few weeks ago. So I'm hoping to at least equal PR, something around that.
Okay. I mean that'd be pretty crazy if you squat 100 kilos more equipped than raw.
I yeah, I'm close to doing this, so that's
Yeah.
that's a bit sad.
Have you like done a test cut at all yet? Because we listened to like the King of the Lifts podcast, and um you said you were like considering that maybe. Like, did you do a test cut at your meet in December, or are you planning to do it, or not so much since I mean you're so close already?
No, yeah, I said I might do this, but I've changed my mind. Since I'm sitting at 70 kilos, I'm pretty much a 69 already, so I just don't feel the need to do this.
Do you have experience with like a water and gut cut before? Like in past meets?
Yeah, I did a gut cut for World Games, but I did it alone, and now I'm working with a nutritionist, so I think it will be even better.
Awesome. And we wanted to ask as well, like just before we let you go, if you're hiding any training at all, like, or are you kind of just posting like what you need, or like you're not afraid of hiding anything?
I'm not hiding anything. I post if I hit anything interesting. I also just post my weekly SBD sessions, because like I just don't see the point of hiding lifts. Anyone's gonna see your opening lifts on the midday anyways, so I don't think it gives any advantage. And like we all know what lifters hit before, how their progress looked in the past, so you can predict what they can hit anyways.
So are you in general, like, are you big in scouting? Like, are you going to be like looking at your competitors, seeing if they post what they post, like looking at their previous meets to get an idea? Or you're just like, okay, I put in the work, I know what I'm capable of, and it doesn't really matter what they do because as long as I execute, it's up to me.
It's definitely the latter one. Like I I do watch other trainings, but I'm not obsessing over who will hit what. It will all turn out on the midday. And yeah, I know that I did everything I could to have the best prep, and I just know I can execute. And if I hit what I want to hit, then it will be really hard for anyone else to come close to me. So that's the mindset.
Sounds good.
How different does it feel going into Sheffield this year versus last year? I mean, last year you like it just wasn't a good meet for you. You were injured, like you couldn't really do anything about it. Versus this year, you're kind of like the one to beat out of all 12 lifters.
Definitely much more excited, much like happier with everything and stuff. I got injured pretty bad at 4 weeks out. Before that, my prep was going pretty well. I was hitting close to my PRs and I was looking to break the world record. And then just last 4 weeks were so messy and so frustrating. I probably cried a lot and stuff. So I wasn't really excited to go there at all. I did think at one point about dropping out, but then I thought to myself that I can still hit the bench press world record, so like why not? And yeah, I I didn't enjoy competing as much because I was so mad that I underperformed. But the experience outside of that was pretty great anyways. So I'm really excited this year because I know it will be a good experience. And on top of that, the prep is going well. But yeah, just can't wait.
Right. So, I mean, obviously, we've been talking one of the things about bench, how bench is crazy, and you want to get like you want to set records and everything. Like how's it gonna feel to have like the bench, like you will actively have the bench press world record in 3 different weight classes, which is, I don't know if anyone's ever done it before, and this weight class is like even a little bit special because since I first like found out about powerlifting like 8 9 years ago, like the best bench presser in the world considered by most was Jennifer Thompson, and you're going to be taking her bench press record now, and not just taking it, like if things go well, you're going to be taking it by like a large amount. So like how is that going to feel to like do you care like to be like the best bench presser of all time? Like I think that's a very reasonable take. I mean, if you hit what you said earlier, you said 160, like that would be only at the moment that would be how many kilo? That would be 4.5 kilos under the 84 plus bench world record.
So yes, I did want to say that I'm on the road to hitting the heaviest bench press ever by a female in the IPF. Bench has always been my favorite and my strongest lift, so it feels great to be hitting those weights and to have world records in 3 weight classes. That's kind of crazy, but I'm not complaining.
I would say when's the Arnold UK?
It's in March.
Okay, I would say
So
if
it's
you
one
could
month
somehow,
after Sheffield.
yeah, if you can somehow, and that's international, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you can somehow get that 165 bench there to take the world record before Alexis comes over, because once she comes over, the world record will not be in the 160s. I can tell you that.
Yeah, yeah. I think it would be more reasonable to expect that at Worlds than Arnold's. I
Oh
probably won't go all out there.
no, that's true, but
'Cause-
right, but you would be in the 76s, so you'd lift
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a couple of days before. So you can break the record. That's wow. If you had it at 4 weight classes, that would be crazy. I was at World, I was talking to Joy Namani, because she didn't have them at the same time, but she had the 52 deadlift world record. She had the 57, and she pulled for the 63 world record at World. And I don't know if she got overturned or got 2 reds. I thought it was a good lift, but she didn't get it. So she would have had the deadlift record in 3 weight classes. And what she pulled, I think, was 241. So that would have also technically been the highest at 69. So she would have had 4. But so now you can take 4 on bench. Like, I think that's even crazier, honestly, than 4 on deadlift, because like deadlift like doesn't move up so much by going up weight classes, whereas bench, like the differences in a few weight classes is massive. So yeah, that would be pretty crazy.
Yeah, good.
Are you watching out for like Corolla's bench at all? Like, do you think she'll be anywhere close to you and getting that bench record at Sheffield?
I don't know. I think she can hit 150 plus, looking at how easily she moves 144 or something around that. But she doesn't post training, so yeah, it's hard to predict where her top end is. But 160 feels like a bit of a stretch. Like I hit a 156 kilo bench at Junior Worlds in 2022, but it got overruled by the jury. So it would only be 4 kilos more than my like gym PR. So like
Right. I mean, but now
it's possible.
you have to worry about bench steps. That makes it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, but just a little.
Just a little bit. Okay. And the week of that. So what message would you send to the other 69s, obviously, and then just all the other lifters lifting at Sheffield?
Uh, just to give your all, train hard, and see you in Sheffield.
Uh-huh. Okay. And then you don't want to tell them they should have fun battling for second?
You're too nice. You were the one who was clapping for Jessica to win.
To be fair, that was a certified. I forgot. Anyways, that was like the first or second time I saw Jessica in real life, and since I didn't have Instagram up until like 2021, I didn't really know a lot of lifters, but I knew about Jessica from the Strength Central's Lift of the Week videos that they posted on YouTube. So I was fangirling over her, and I was just like, it was so crazy to me that I could see her lift live and going for that huge deadlift. So I just like, yeah, I wanted to see it myself.
Yeah. Now, I mean, next time you battle her, she can try pulling that, but she'll have to pull more.
But didn't she say she's moving up to the 81st?
I don't know if she's doing it this
She's
year.
been
She
like
definitely,
toying with it. Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
because
She's kind of
people say
tall.
that she will come back to the 76s, but like she said a few times that she wants to finally move up to the 81st. So we'll see if she's going to come down forward.
I mean, to be honest, it'll be easier to come second in the 84s than it will be to come second in the 76s.
Yeah, yeah. I've listened to a King of the Lifts podcast recently, and they were talking about if Amanda Lawrence is so much stronger than everyone else, or if this weight class is just underdeveloped. And I thought to myself that the podium in the 81st is like 630, and then 590, 580, something like that. So they're hitting the same totals that we are in the 76s. So to me, that's like, yeah, the 81st are pretty much underdeveloped. And I think Jess could hit a big total PR if she moved up and like gained weight.
Yeah, I mean, the 84s are weird because the 76s, well, there were no 76s at the time. There were the 72s, but the 72s, like, we're not hitting anywhere near these numbers. And then the 84s like jumped out to being like the strongest weight class, like in like 2018, when like first Daniela Mello came out of nowhere, and she was 18 when she won Worlds, and she was totaling like her first Worlds, I don't know, like maybe 570, and then she came back and won Worlds again the next year, and then she came back against Amanda when Amanda was a junior, Daniela was a junior, and then they both totaled, I think it was like 613. And like still, there's nobody else who's come besides for Amanda. Nobody else has ever come close to even Daniela's like that performance. So it's just interesting. I mean, I was hoping that she'd come back eventually, but she's now she's a 69, so I don't think she's ever coming back to. It's pretty crazy. She was supposed to cut down that next year from 84 to 76. She missed weight at nationals. She then ended up taking off for a year or two and coming back at 90, and now she's down to 69. So I don't know. One day we'll see her back on the platform and be interesting.
Yeah, and like she went from hitting those crazy numbers to like not hitting those crazy numbers. So it's interesting when she will come back and at like her full strength. I would like to see her have a great meet again.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know who else is there. Like I don't know who can be competitive in the 84s. Like the one person, it might be a hard cut, but you know the girl from Ireland, Listis?
Yeah, Listis about.
Yeah, so she's an 84 plus, but she's like a really light 84 plus. So I don't know if it's possible for her to cut to 84, but like.
Oh, but there's also Erholova. She's also a
right,
junior.
right.
She has a crazy deadlift, but I think she's cutting down to the 76s.
Oh, really?
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I think she posted something like that.
I did not know that because she would be the person. Right, she would be the person who maybe could compete next to 84s. Like her deadlift's crazy. Like it's close to Amanda, but the problem is like Amanda is like the best 84 deadlift, the best 84 squat, and like not a great bench, but not a bad bench. So like you can't just have one. Like you have to be like all around the very good lifter.
Yeah, but she's pretty young, so she could hit with PRs.
She's pretty young. She's only a couple years older than you.
No, I'm talking about her love. She's a junior.
Right. No. I think she's 23.
Oh.
Yeah, it's crazy because all these lifters who are juniors, a lot of them, they're still a couple of years older than you. That's like, like by the time you're out of the juniors, you're already gonna have been like on the international stage for 5 years. Like, that's pretty crazy.
Okay, all right. Before we let you go, do you have anyone you want to shout out? Any sponsors or coach or anything?
Yeah, of course, I'd like to thank SBD because they're part of the reason I'm able to live as a professional powerlifter, and doing sports as my job was a dream since I was a child. So it kind of feels unreal to be able to do this. So thanks to SBD for making it possible. And outside of that, thanks for everyone, to everyone for the support and encouraging words. Yeah. Thanks.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Good luck at Sheffield.
Thank you.
Oh, wait.
All right.
Last question before we go. Like, so you said like you always wanted to do sports as a thing. Like, before you started powerlifting, like, what sports did you play? Any sports, or were you involved in any other sports?
I was a very active child, and I would always like go to every, I don't know, tournaments in school in every sport that there was, but I never really started doing any sports competitively. I did some horse riding for a few years, but every time I thought I wanted to do some sport, everyone would tell me that I'm just too short, like track and field too short, volleyball too short, basketball too short. So yeah, I just never really did any sports competitively.
I mean, track and field, like throwing, like could probably be you'd probably be pretty good at that. That just like is like a pure strength sport. Like the top throwers in the world are just like insanely strong. I just saw like Jesus Alvarez reposted this shot put guy who squatted 375 kilos for 8 reps yesterday. So it's like if there's anybody who like we don't know of now who could just come into powerlifting and just like move straight to like the top, it would be like some of these like track and field throwers.
Well,
yeah.
But
okay, thank you for coming on. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Right. Yeah, thank you so much. See you at Sheffield.
See you.